Hi, Debbie Lichter here, founder of Free from Food Addiction and Freedom Embodied Academy. And if you have ever thought to yourself, I'm not good enough, or I'm not worthy for that, or I don't deserve this, or you've ever struggled with self-love, then stick around. This video is for you, and I'm going to be sharing 3 keys to support you in busting through that so that you can, for once and for all, actually have an experience of self-love, because self-love and self-worth, it starts there for you to be able to actually build and create and have the life that you want. So let's dive right in. So I want to share with you this first key. This first key is about getting over your story. So we just had the Freedom Embodied Live event last weekend. It was amazing. And we got a number of women who stepped forward to say that they wanted to be in the Freedom Embodied Academy. So honored. I will share a little bit more in a bit about what that is all about. But what was so incredible in the vulnerable shares that came out of this weekend were hearing so many successful women, incredible women, women who've done lots of inner work, who have spiritual beliefs, seeing them also still struggling with the lack of worth, lack of self-love, and really holding themselves back because of it. And so what I saw there was a huge opportunity to really have us all move past our story. Now, I know that it's like, okay, great. Yeah, I need to move past my story. Great. I've been trying to do that for, I don't know, my entire life. So this is what worked for me. And, I had a friend who said to me once, Deb, a fish doesn't know that it's wet. And I just love that because it's so true. And I had a mentor who said to me, look, you're living in your delusions. So you don't know they're delusions. For you, it's just your reality. And that's why we oftentimes need some support. So for me personally, I needed support. I needed somebody else who was going to be that pillar, that anchor of truth, that was going to help me to see where my story was exactly that. It was a story. It wasn't me. And it didn't define me. And it didn't keep me where I was. And seeing that was a story and realizing that it wasn't just me and how it is allowed me to have something that is invaluable, and that is hope. I had hope. I'm like, oh my gosh, there's hope that I can have a new experience. If this is one story, then there's an infinite number of stories out there, and I'm ready for an upgrade in my story of myself. And so it got me open to what was possible. And that's where my mentor is really able to help me and continue me along the entire path, helping me gain access to my inner guidance and helping me get free from the things that were blocking me so that I could come into that authentic experience of self-worth and self-love. So that first thing is to get past your story. And I guess the addendum to that is, if it resonates for you, is to get support around that. Don't feel like you got to do that one on your own. Number 2 is to surround yourself with people, in my opinion, I feel like other women who get you, who can reflect your truth back to you. This was such a beautiful thing. There were so many moments of this past weekend at Freedom Embodied Live, but one of my favorite moments that we did was this one woman. She was really, really struggling with her self-worth, and she was crying, and we all, like all of us, just our hearts just went there because we all relate to that. We all know that feeling. We all know that inner little girl, that wounded inner little girl that just didn't get what she needed. We all related to that. And it just occurred to me in that moment, oh my gosh, this woman really, really needs our love, and she's ready for it. And so I asked her that. I said, are you ready to have a new experience? Are you ready for a shift? She said, I am. So we brought her up on stage, and she stood there, and we all banded together in solidarity and sisterhood and service, and we all sang to her, you are so beautiful. You are so beautiful to me. And she was crying, and we were crying, and everyone was crying, and it was so beautiful and so powerful. And in that moment, it really struck me more profoundly than it has ever struck me before. We are so meant to do this together. We are so meant to do this together. We're not meant to be in this alone. We're not meant to always be able to reflect to ourselves exactly what the truth is, right? I know that I'm lovable, and I know that I should just love myself no matter what, and all that kind of stuff. We can kind of like say all those things. They sound like, really sweet slogans, but it's really hard sometimes when we're not feeling that. And so imagine an entire room full of mirrors that are just shining at you and reflecting back to you everything that we see you to be. It was phenomenal. And here's what was so powerful is that we're singing at her and we're sharing and shining our love, and we're giving her all this unconditional love. And guess what it did simultaneously? Yeah, it helped to serenade our own inner girl. She got a healing too. We all felt connected. And I was like, gosh, this is so powerful. We are meant to heal this together. We're meant to heal our inner girl together, to heal our mother wounding together. We're meant to heal our connection with women wounding, distrust around women wounding. We're meant to do this together. And so that is number 2, is to really, really surround yourself by like-minded women who get you, who you can be real with, who you can be vulnerable with. It's so, so important because we get to not only receive their reflections, but we get to also see ourselves in them. It's so, so powerful. And number 3, and this is something that I'm so excited to really dive into in Freedom Embodied Academy, because I find that so many of us are focused on doing the things that we think that we're supposed to do and then not getting the results and saying, there's something wrong with me, or I'm just broken. And we're in this constant cycle. And one of the things that I love so much about Freedom Embodied Academy is that it's actually teaching women the new set of tools that are going to allow you to launch beyond where you are right now and catapult into a new level of confidence and freedom and the ability to authentically shine your light. And so this tool is to take bold, congruent action. So taking bold, congruent action. Now, here's the thing, is that when we think that we want to activate more self-love, what do? We do another self-love meditation. We try to, say, I want to feel my worth. And we might, try to do all these things. We might do some mirror work of like looking in the mirror and like, I love you. And I'm not saying any of those things are wrong or bad. But here's what I have found in my own experience of being someone who had very, very little self-worth. And now today, I truly love myself. I have attracted in love. I've attracted in partnership because I'm a stand for that love for myself. And I'm a stand for that for you as well. And so this step right here of taking bold, congruent action has everything to do with you not doing another self-love meditation and like trying to make yourself love yourself. But it's actually about doing small self-honoring acts. Every single time you pause, every single time, instead of pushing yourself further, you just let yourself be with what is. Every single time you actually embrace what is in this moment, instead of making yourself wrong for what you're doing. Every single time you take that bold action, that following your trust and following your gut instinct, even when your head's like, you're gonna be stupid, you don't have the money for that, you can't do that, they're gonna judge you, you're gonna fail, all those things that our mind will say, but our gut knows that we're here to do it. Every time you take bold, congruent action on that, guess what it does? It builds self-worth. It builds self-love, because you are no longer, listen up, you are no longer self-betraying. See, as long as we're self-betraying, we can't actually authentically have an experience of self-worth and self-love, because we know that we're betraying ourselves all the time. And so this is so great, big, huge, powerful. And if you have struggles with self-sabotage, or you feel like you have a tendency to give so much to others and you don't give to yourself, you tend to not self-care, all these things, don't worry. Help is on the way. You just need to reach out, because you don't have to keep on living that way. you can actually be reoriented onto a path where you are doing self-honoring acts all the time, where self-care becomes a way of living, and your self-care actually becomes the way that you are of the highest service in the world. So you actually get to authentically shine your light out there in the world by committing so deeply to your self-care. All of this is possible. And really, what's resting on all of it is your ability to ask for support. And so you can ask for support from the universe, you can ask for support from a person, from a group, you can reach out. Whatever feels true and congruent for you, I invite you to do that, because your experience of self-love and self-worth is sitting on the other side of you being willing to set aside what you think you know and open yourself up to what might be possible. So, thank you so much for taking this time out. I hope that was valuable for you. Of course, if there's any way that I can support you, I will leave a link below if you want to hop on my calendar. I can help you with some of those shifts and help to kind of move you beyond some of those barriers so that you can activate more self-love and more self-worth just in our conversation. So if you want to do that, I will leave a link below. You can head to allofyou.today. I will leave that link below and you can grab some time with me. And again, if this was valuable for you, if you feel like you have a woman in your world who needs a dose of self-love and self-worth, please send this to her. Please send it to her. Share it, send it, and let's just spread the love. I'll connect with you more next time. Bye for now. Mwah.